Peter Parker Intern to Bruce Banner by 107th Infantry. Chapter 15. Tony. When Peter stepped outside the tower, a warm summer wind washed over him. The skyscrapers looked awfully appealing right now, and he had a Spider-Man suit in his bag. It was no tech replica, but ever since his argument with Tony, he felt it better to go under the radar. The problem was, he wasn't very good at it. 10 minutes into his swinging, Iron Man landed next to him on the roof. Deja vu much? A disgruntled-looking Tony Stark stepped out of it. "How am I supposed to save people if you always show up?" Peter quipped. "How are you supposed to save people getting shot? That doesn't look like the bulletproof suit I gave you for a very specific reason." "To spy on me." "Only an added benefit, really, but the last few weeks you've gotten untraceable, as Peter at least." Was that confusion on Mr. Stark's face? "You could track anyone." "Perhaps if I had a spy on call, but suddenly the whole intelligence community has either become morally upstanding or someone is threatening them." "Well, I have no idea what you're talking about." Peter walked toward the side of the building to leave. "What does the name Roger Harrington mean to you?" "Nothing," Peter answered too quickly, turning to look at Tony. "He's your chemistry teacher. You've got to do better than that when you lie, kid. He's also one of the only hackers that might have a chance of getting into my systems. I'm giving you one opportunity to come clean, Peter." Peter froze. Could he stand to lose Dr. Banner, his projects, and the chance of finding out how he got these powers? No. Besides, he was untraceable as Peter. Tony could come to his home, but he wouldn't. There were boundaries that even he wouldn't break. "Leave it, Tony," Peter said, jumping off the roof. This man wasn't his mentor. He was someone in the way. Somehow, Tony had always thought that his first name would be a graduation from Mr. Stark. Now, it seemed that the boy saw him as an equal, but it was all wrong. Spider-Man stopped for an ice cream on the way home. He took it to the top of a skyscraper and sat there looking at the sky. He wanted to deny the guilt that was bubbling in his chest. He had lied to Mr. Stark. He had kept Dr. Banner a secret from May. He desperately wanted to hold on to the life he currently had. He wanted to be recognised for the science he did and the thoughts he had. Spider-Man was a fraud. Peter wasn't. But on the way home, he came across a mugging and stopped it automatically. Methodically. He felt nothing until he saw a small girl hiding in her mother's skirts. Pure innocence. It shocked him. No one was innocent, yet so many people were. They needed protecting. Peter cried himself to sleep that night, his tears staining the Iron Man pillow that he hadn't gotten rid of yet, and his hands holding a scientific paper to distract himself. He had a whole weekend until he could go back to the lab. He couldn't even be Spider-Man without Tony showing up. The day had been going so well at the start. Chapter 16. My Kid. The weekend felt so long. Peter had dragged himself to the bookstore where MJ had called him a dumbass with a bit less affection than usual. I guess pissing off one of the most important men in the city and going out without his bulletproof suit hadn't been the best idea. Still, MJ had listened to him, which felt nice. When Peter had wondered aloud about why he was now untraceable, she had just looked at him like he was stupid. She did that a lot. "Do you think it might relate to the top-secret research you're doing?" By the time Monday came around, Peter almost had his life together, other than Tony looking into him, of course. He had an idea of why he had suddenly disappeared from all surveillance, and a plan for asking Dr. B about it. After diligently measuring the radiation levels of 150 spiders now housed next to his semi-workspace, Peter brought it up. "Dr. B, why do all of my papers have the author redacted? And why don't the cameras on the upper floors turn to follow me?" He'd only noticed the second part after Mr. Stark's comments. Bruce turned from what he was working on to look at Peter. A fatherly affection for Peter had taken root in the older man, which could be seen in his eyes. "I'd rather not get you killed." Between Mr. Harrington, Natasha and I think that's going pretty well. Natasha? That explained the very scared intelligence community. Bruce looked surprised that he had slipped. Don't worry about it, kid. Nothing can get you down here, and now nothing can get you out there. Now, run and get me a connector for this, will you? I don't know which is best. Peter ran off to one of the side rooms, thinking about their conversation. That was when the steel front door slammed into the ground, cut to shreds with some sort of laser. Iron Man stepped through the door, already talking. You know, Bruce, I liked you. I thought we were friends. I give you free rein to do anything you want in your lab, and you stay out of Cap and my little spat. Except you didn't. Where the hell is Spider-Man? Tony, you need to leave. His steely grey eyes glanced to the side room. I don't know what you heard, but I don't know Spider-Man. It's just me and my intern here. Then why are there radioactive spiders on your desk? The suit spoke, frantically, motioning towards Bruce and Peter's merged workspaces. That's a controlled experiment. Years of meditating were barely keeping Bruce calm in this moment. Peter was in the other room. His Peter. He must be terrified. You're experimenting on my kid. I'm not experimenting on anyone. Calm down. Bruce didn't look very calm himself. A crazed Tony Stark stepped out of the suit. Natasha was in on it. You knew that, Harrington programmer, but you didn't cover it up well enough. In my own building? How dare you? The boy may hate me, but he's my damn responsibility. Tony's eyes were sad, sadder than Bruce had ever seen them. Suddenly, Peter got to them. He was barely out of breath after running to them, but Bruce didn't have time to think about that. Mr. Stark, he's not experimenting on me. I'm fine. I'm an intern. Peter's pleading face looked up at Tony. He was practically standing between Tony and Bruce. Anxiety bubbled up in his chest. Why would he take you as an intern other than to use your powers? It came out wrong. Tony knew it as soon as he said it. You would think that, wouldn't you? Peter screamed. That's all I'm worth to you. He didn't even know, Tony. He cared about me. Something that you seem incapable of. The realization was dawning on Dr. Banner. Peter? Sorry, Dr. B. Secret identities and all that. Peter. Bruce was stunned. Tony couldn't speak. He had just almost attacked Bruce Banner. He just wanted to protect his kid. But was Peter even his kid? The door will be repaired tonight. The Iron Man suit surrounded him, and Tony was gone. Suddenly, Peter was enveloped in a warm hug. I care about you, Peter, no matter what. Bruce smelled like chamomile tea. Even if that was completely my fault? Even if, but I expect a full apology from Tony by the morning. Even if I'm Spider-Man? Yes. Even if Tony hates me? Of course. Though I don't think you have to worry about that. I think he just doesn't know how to protect you. I'd worry about that too. He's flown me into war zones. Training? Bruce was back to looking concerned. I'll talk to him about it. You didn't hire me for my powers, right? No. I should have realised, but no. Peter followed Bruce as he made some tea for them both. They sat on one of the couches that were scattered around the workspace, and Peter explained. He explained everything about Tony and his powers and even Aunt May. By the time he was done, Bruce could only stare at him. You're a good kid, Peter. We'll fix this. When? Whenever you're ready. Peter leaned against Bruce. He'd be ready soon, but not now. Now, he just wanted to sit. Hi, I hope you enjoy the podfic. If you do, please consider subscribing as I try to upload twice a week. This will include the rest of the chapters for this fic. It really makes my day. I'm taking requests, so if you have a favourite fic you would like covered, drop me a comment and I will reach out to the author for you. Have a lovely day.